Hi everyone, it's Katrina. Number 10. The Quazi. The Quazi emerged in 10,000 BC in Africa and ruled over the empire of Kitara. According to the legends, they dominated what is now Uganda, Sudan, the Congo, Rwanda, Zambia, and Malawi. These mysterious people survived in the depths of Africa up until 1500 AD. They started fragmenting in the early 1300s and were gone by just 500 years ago. The most curious thing about the Quazi is that absolutely no proof of their existence survives today. The Quazi supposedly had very unusual physical features. They were extremely tall and had oddly shaped skulls. Other tribes of Africa believed them to be demigods or a race of beings from the spirit realm. People today believe the Quazi were extraterrestrials who lived in the jungles of Africa up until Europeans began to colonize it. In Uganda, the Burundi people, who still worship the Quazi to this day, call the Quazi the Ibumanuka, which translates to the people who landed as gods. They were worshipped by countless tribes, including ones in Ankole, Toro, and East Congo. People in the Democratic Republic of Congo still believe the Quazi were real supernatural beings. The Tutsi tribe believe themselves to be the descendants of the mystical Quazi. But what do the mainstream archaeologists say? Modern scholars believe the Quazi weren't aliens at all. They claim the Quazi arrived in Uganda around 500 AD after traveling down the Nile River. Then they spread across Africa as they built a far-reaching empire. The issue is that there is very little in the way of physical evidence. Researchers don't have the ruins of cities to look at or ancient monuments built by the Quazi. Though there certainly could be lost cities deep in the Congo and other parts of Africa, they have never been found. Number 9. Vibranium. A shocking video recently appeared online and took the world by storm. The video claims that in the Democratic Republic of Congo, people have found vibranium. Vibranium, as in the fictitious material in the Marvel universe used to create Captain America's shield, among other fictional relics. Reports out of the Congo claim that a single gram of one of these electrically charged rocks can light a bulb for 72 hours. A larger piece of rock can be used to supply power to an entire house for 2 months. But the experts say it's all nonsense. Multiple reports have come out since the supposed discovery of vibranium, saying that it's a fictional element. But these same reports admit that they are unable to confirm if the stones really are producing electricity. Congo is known for its immense mineral wealth. The country has huge deposits of everything from gold to cobalt. As you may know already, cobalt is a hugely important element in creating electronic components. It isn't that far-fetched to think that hidden under the African jungle are truly electric rocks. Do you think a material like vibranium or something similar truly exists? Number 8. The Humanzi. In 1929, Ilya Ivanovich Ivanov of the Soviet Union tried to create a hybrid human-chimpanzee creature. It was such an ungodly experiment that the scientist was supposedly exiled to Kazakhstan in 1930. A few short years later, he was found dead. Scientists have long pondered the possibility of creating a humanzee, a half-human, half-chimp, but it's considered taboo science. It's something most genetic researchers are forbidden from even attempting. All the same, genetic expert Michael Bedford learned in 1977 that human sperm is capable of penetrating the egg of a gibbon. The speculation is that a human could theoretically fertilize the egg of a primate. But what if this is something that's already happened in nature? Oliver was a chimpanzee born in the 1950s with extremely unique traits. He was born in the wilds of Congo, then captured by Frank and Janet Berger. They were interested in Oliver because he had different features than his primate friends. He was a bit smaller and his face was flatter. Oliver looked way more human. His eyes were lightly colored, something very unusual for an ape. He also suffered from pattern baldness that made him look even more like a human man. His behavior was also much more human than what you would expect from a chimp. He was comfortable enough to walk on 2 legs and had facial expressions eerily similar to our own. Sadly for Oliver, he was taken from his Congolese chimpanzee family and made into a freak show. He was displayed to the public as the missing link between humans and monkeys. He drank morning coffee and mixed his own cocktails in the evening. His cognitive abilities were supposedly enormous. He could use tools and simple machinery. Oliver spent his later life in a laboratory being tested on. Scientists never did find out why Oliver was so much more like a human compared to other chimps. Number 7. Monster piranha. The Goliath tigerfish is one of the most frightening creatures in the world. It's a cousin of the piranha, only it's big enough that it can eat crocodiles. These frightening fish live in the Congo where very few have ever gone fishing. Jeremy Wade, British angler and TV host, hooked one such ferocious water beast during an expedition to the Congo River. The monster piranha cousin has 32 teeth in its mouth, each one big and sharp enough to kill a person. A single bite from the Goliath can separate someone's head from the rest of their body. Reports say the fish has been known to attack people in the Congo. They can easily feast on small crocodiles. The one Jeremy Wade caught was 99 pounds and over 5 feet long. He had to hold it far from his body so that the fish didn't lash out and bite his arm off. It took him an entire 8 hours just to reel the fish in, and that's only one fish. The Congo is full of these things, making its waterways some of the most dangerous in the world. Number 6. The monolith. When a mysterious metal monolith appeared in Utah in 2020, there was a lot of excitement. People traveled to the strange sculpture to take photos with it. People wondered where it came from and whispered theories about UFOs. It was a huge mystery and a lot of fun. When the same thing happened in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2021, people were not quite as receptive. Citizens in the capital of Kinshasa freaked out when a random metal monolith appeared in the city. They threw stones at it and lit it on fire. The 12-foot-tall metal monolith, shaped almost the same as the one in Utah, was swiftly destroyed. Local resident Sergei Ifulu told reporters that people woke up and saw this strange triangle and immediately thought of the Illuminati. Locals were afraid it was placed there by devil worshippers or secret cultists. This led to stones being thrown and an angry crowd ripping the metallic sheets apart. The monolith was torn asunder to expose its metal frame. Local mayor Bailon Gaibene told BBC News that pieces of the material were going to be tested by scientists to learn where the monolith came from. Those test results were never released to the public. It's still a mystery as to who put the metal monolith in Kinshasa and why. Do you have any theories? Number 5. The ishango bone. In 1950, Belgian explorers adventuring in Congo discovered a strange piece of ancient history. Jean de Heinzelin de Broucourt found what is known as the Ishango bone near the Senliki River. It's one of the most mysterious regions in Africa. It's where Lake Edward empties into the Senliki, which moves forward to form the headwaters of the Nile. It's largely jungle and poorly explored. Some researchers think the people who inhabited the region thousands of years ago were a unique species of pre-sapiens. That's to say, they were a kind of primitive, ape-like human species that's never been identified. However, it's only a theory. The artifact is a piece of bone and potential mathematical device. The bone has a piece of quartz fixed to the end, turning it into a kind of carving pen, resembling a tiny bone wand. The bone was scraped and polished and engraved. It likely came from a mammal. Researchers have been arguing for years over what exactly it was used for. Some say the ishango bone had something to do with astrology, maybe a lunar calendar, but the most prominent theory is that primitive pre-sapiens used it as a tally stick. The scratches on the piece of bone may have been used for counting, like a really simplistic calculator. If that's true, it could be the oldest mathematical tool known to humans. Number 4. The Dino Expedition. There may not be any proof that dinosaurs still live in the jungles of the Congo Basin, but that hasn't stopped people from looking for them. For decades, rumors have been circulating that somewhere deep in the dense jungle is a dinosaur, like a brontosaurus. Not a T-Rex or some vicious carnivore, just a small family of long-necked plant eaters. In 1776, a group of French missionaries discovered the tracks of an unknown animal in the Congolese jungle. The footprints were about 3 feet in circumference and about 8 feet apart from one another. It was a monstrous beast that left such prints, but the missionaries never saw the creature with their own eyes. In 1913, the German government wished to take more land in the jungles of Africa for its colonies. Captain Freiherr von Steinzu-Lausnitz led an expedition into the territorial Congo called the Sangha. He and his team met with the native population. The people spoke to the Germans of a mythical beast from the primeval age. They called this creature Mokele Mbembe. The animal was described as being about the size of an elephant, but with a flexible neck. It also had a muscular tail like that of an alligator. Locals said that anyone who got near it was squashed to death. But unlike a sauropod from 65 million years ago, this thing was said to live in caves. Mokele Mbembe slept at night in dark caverns and crept out during the daytime to forage for leaves. Nobody has ever seen the creature. Scientists are adamant that it's impossible for a dinosaur to exist. Maybe they're right. Or maybe the monster of the Congo isn't a dinosaur. It could be another freakish monstrosity that science doesn't know about. What do you think? Is it possible there's a dinosaur hiding in the Congo? Let me know in the comments below. And hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Number 3. The kongamato. The kongamato is a winged monster that allegedly lives in several different tropical regions of Africa. It's been sighted in Zambia, Congo, and Angola. Those who have seen the monster say it looks like a pterosaur. The name kongamato translates roughly to breaker of boats, as it's said to attack canoes when people stray too deeply down jungle rivers. The kongamato has red wings with a thin membrane like what you see on bat wings. It looks like a giant red flying lizard with a bird's beak full of pointy teeth. Witnesses have described its wingspan anywhere from 4 to 100 feet across. Locals deep in the remote forests are terrified of the winged nightmare. Now that you've heard the legend, how much of it do you think is true? Early explorers in the Congolese wilderness described witnessing huge winged creatures. They said the monsters ate mostly fish, but occasionally devoured a human. There were also rumors that they would dig up graves and scavenge human corpses. Traveler Frank Melland described his encounter with a kongamato in his book, In Witch-Bound Africa, that he wrote in 1932. There is a real possibility that some sort of winged beast dwells within the jungle. It most likely isn't a living pterosaur, but then again, you never really know. The description of the kongamato is eerily similar to the legendary Roken monster of Papua New Guinea. Number 2. The Kingdom of Congo. When most people think about Congo, they think of Tarzan and hundreds of miles of untouched wilderness. In truth, the Kingdom of Congo was one of the biggest empires in Central Africa until very recently. The kingdom was founded by the Kikongo-speaking people around the year 1390. The tribes united under a single ruler and began a campaign of domination. The Kingdom of Congo reached its height in the middle of the 17th century, but it tore itself apart from the inside. There were too many feuding royal factions. The transatlantic slave trade was tearing Africa apart. The kingdom slowly declined until nothing remained. By 1888, all that was left of the kingdom was a small vassal state in Portugal. They once ruled a huge portion of Africa from their capital Mbanza, Congo, located in what is currently Angola. But by the early 1900s, their city and culture were integrated into the Portuguese colony in Angola. The empire is a ghost these days, with its descendants living in the thick jungles. There could be ruins of dozens, even hundreds of cities spread through Congo that will never be found. Number 1. The Jaba fofi. There is a spider in the Congolese jungle so big and dangerous it allegedly killed a missionary in 1891. The enormous arachnid is called the Jaba fofi. It's said to be 4 feet long, living in underground burrows on the forest floor. Missionary Arthur John Symes traveled from Britain to bring the word of God to the Congolese in the late 19th century. His men supposedly got tangled in a massive spider web while trying to reach people in the deepest part of the Central African jungle. When that happened, 2 huge spiders emerged from their underground lairs. The men caught in the webs were eaten. Arthur was bitten but managed to escape by firing off his pistol. Unfortunately for him, he developed chills from the spider bite, then fell into a feverish delirium. Within hours, Arthur died from the spider's toxic bite. It sounds like a fantasy, yet it isn't the only testimony of giant spiders in Congo. George Eberhardt relayed another tale in his book on cryptozoology about an English couple who saw one. They weren't attacked, but they did see a spider bigger than a dog scurry across the road. They only saw it for a few seconds before it vanished into the trees. Experts say the Jaba fofi is nothing but a myth. The biggest official spider in Africa is the baboon spider, and it's not even a foot long. Scientists have come up with all sorts of reasons as to why the behemoth arachnid is impossible. There's the fact that bigger spiders need more oxygen to survive. A monstrous spider would also need way too much food. Then there's the issue of exoskeletal limitations. If a spider grows too big, it gets too heavy for its muscles to work properly. These sound like a lot of scientific excuses to dismiss the possibility of this fantasy. Maybe there are 4-foot-long spiders in the Congo, and perhaps we just haven't found them yet. Thanks for watching! What do you think is still hiding in the jungles of Congo? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!